Aliens Fireteam Elite is finally out, and while the game looks like a simple action experience on the surface, it's actually full of deep character customization, varied enemies, and impressive weapons to unlock. Here are some tips and tricks to help you survive in the war against the Xenomorphs, as well as understand the game's various systems for keeping your colonial marine powered up and frosty. If you want more Aliens Fireteam Elite coverage, then check out our review in the description below, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more videos. If you're in the UK, like me, they mostly come at night. Mostly. Aliens Fireteam Elite has 4 classes to choose from when you begin the game, as well as a 5th one that unlocks after the main campaign has been completed. So which class is right for you? That all depends on how you prefer to play team-based games, as you'll be able to choose between offensive, defensive and support classes to survive the Xenomorph hordes. The Gunner is a well-rounded attacker, the Demolisher is great for clearing out entire swarms of cannon fodder, the Technician provides plenty of support firepower, and the Medic will keep your team in the fight against even the most overwhelming odds. Having a well-balanced team is the key to success, with each class bringing signature tricks and firepower to each encounter. Nothing's stopping you from assembling a team of 3 Demolishers though, and Aliens Fireteam Elite allows for even that squad to still have plenty of variety thanks to how you can level up your classes and invest in their core abilities. This one goes without saying, but don't forget that every Xenomorph has acid blood pumping through its veins. Every dead bug leaves a temporary acidic obstacle in its wake, although if you're in a rush, you can dodge over it to avoid losing any of your health points. Just be wary of a particular glowing green breed of Xenomorph, as its tougher hide allows it to get closer and violently explode when it dies. You'll also want to be wary when walking down supposedly safe corridors. If one of your marines says, "Hear that?" that's a sign to stop and examine the area for a lurking prowler. These red Xenomorphs hide around corners or hang from ceilings, and if you get close enough, they'll pounce and deal significant damage. Avoid this trap, focus your firepower on it, and bring it down to size before it can inflict harm on your team. But it's not just the prowlers. Other Xenomorphs will often bounce around walls, ceilings and cover spots to get close to you, so keep an eye on your surroundings at all times to avoid being ambushed by the bugs. Yes, they are indeed coming out of the walls. If you'd like to avoid any parasites calling your chest cavity home for a few hours, make sure that you have your eyes open for any eggs that house the dreaded facehugger. These eggs will spawn the vile incubators when you get too close, and should they latch onto you, you'll lose some vital health in the process. Alien Fireteam Elite's cover may seem pointless as Xenomorphs use their agility to close the distance, but the game's swerve into cover-based shooter territory is necessary when dealing with synthetic androids in the later missions. Unlike the Xenomorphs, synths are well armed and able to demolish a fireteam from a distance with their precision aim. Hugging nearby walls to avoid their attention is vital, but you'll also have to stay alert for heavy synths who can take more damage and units armed with flamethrowers. Switch to electrified ammo to disrupt their patterns, let nearby Xenomorphs harass them, and don't forget to aim for the head. In addition to reliable lead, rockets and proximity grenades, you'll be able to load a few rounds of elemental ammunition into your weapons when you find or buy the right consumables. Xenomorphs may be remorseless killing machines, but fire is great for burning through their defences and dealing damage over time. For synthetic enemies, you'll want to switch to shock rounds that overload their circuits and leave them open for a counterattack. It's worth noting that whenever you activate this special ability from your inventory wheel, it will only apply to the weapon you have in your hands, so think carefully about which firearm you want to load the ammo into. While every class is equipped with weapons and skills that makes them valuable, the Demolisher is the go-to class for players having a hard time landing shots on Xenomorphs. Demolishers can choose between the Smart Gun and Flamethrower as their secondary weapon when starting out, with the former featuring an auto lock-on option that targets the nearest enemy to you and unleashes a barrage of rounds. The Smart Gun has a meaty magazine as well, allowing it to easily annihilate an entire horde of Xenomorphs when you hold the trigger down. The flamethrower barely requires any aiming though, as you merely need to point it in the general direction of anything dangerous and burn it to a crisp when you pull the trigger. Like the Smart Gun, the default magazine size is massive, and you'll be able to clear rooms with this weapon while applying burn effects to heavier enemies. You'll be able to experiment with different loadouts in your home base aboard the Endeavour, where you can dig into the weapons available in each loadout and find the build that suits you best. Once you've got a character wielding weapons that works for you, stick with them as you can level your arsenal up. Once you've killed a few thousand Xenomorphs, a weapon at its maximum level will deal more damage and handle better, thus also increasing your overall combat rating. Spread your selection of weapons across your various classes to have them consistently gain experience. It may look confusing at first, but Alien Fireteam Elite's system for growing your Marine is actually pretty easy to understand. Leveling up a Marine unlocks slots in their skill tree, as well as new abilities and perks. Some of these skills are locked into a specific class, others benefit all 5 loadouts that you can choose from. The unifying factor here is that there's only so much space for you to slot your skills into, leaving you the option of investing in being an all-rounder or specialising in a certain field. For example, the Demolisher's shoulder-mounted micro-missiles can be upgraded into a wide spread of napalm projectiles that leave a lingering field of fiery death behind after they've exploded. If you'd prefer for your core skills to be enhanced instead, you can add tabs that buff your reload speed and the maximum amount of ammo you can carry. It's worth checking in with the officer in charge of supplies, as you can grab a few universal perks from him provided that you have enough currency on hand. While your regular Xenomorph is no match for a small burst of high velocity lead from a tried and trusted M41A pulse rifle, there are plenty of other enemies that can take a significant amount of damage before they finally fall. Besides hearing your commanding officer frantically shout about these Xenomorph variants appearing, you'll spot them on your radar as teal or orange blips. These hostiles should be a priority target when they're in range, as it takes a barrage of firepower to destroy their armour and knock them down. Keep the battlefield clear, unleash your special abilities, and aim for the weak spots to deal enough damage to take down these brutes before they can disrupt your party. While every ambush point in a level has a crate or two with some useful gear, you never know what you're going to get, as the inventory is always randomised. Alternatively, it's always worth spending a few credits at the Requisition store so that you have access to combat boosts that complement your character. Whether that's a turret that shoots incendiary rounds or a drone that makes enemies weaker, a small investment before a mission goes a long way towards completing a run and banking the rewards at the end of it. There's a hidden cache in each level, usually tucked away in a section of the map that's off the beaten path, and it's worth hunting for. Inside each cache you'll usually find a handy consumable item, unlock new cosmetic gear or emotes, or weapon accessories. If you're playing with friends, they'll have to open the cache individually to gain the gear inside, so make sure that you pop an alert whenever you find one. While it's tempting to go all gung-ho as you take on the Xenomorph and synthetic hordes, that's a recipe for a quick death. You'll want to stick close to your teammates, especially those members in your party who can provide several beneficial buffs to the offense-heavy members of your squad. Medics can lay down a drone that provides a constant stream of health, while recon members of the team will keep your guns loaded with an ammo-generating pod, perfect for when you want to take down a swarm while using the best tools in your arsenal. Increasing your character and weapon levels in Alien's Fireteam Elite can be a grind, but if you're looking to shortcut the process while adding a fun challenge to the game, then it's well worth looking at activating a challenge card. Earned through completing tactical opportunities and finding hidden caches, and available for purchase from the Requisition store, these cards can transform how a level plays into a wild experience. Tired of gunning down runners? There's a card that turns all of them into explosive bursters if you're up to the challenge. The choice is yours, and the end result is a big increase in the experience points and resources that you earn at the end of an encounter. If you're lucky, you might even unlock an exotic card that offers great rewards for merely completing a level. One thing to bear in mind though is that only one card can be active at a time, and if all 3 players activate a challenge card, the game will randomly choose which one to use. Cards are also consumed when you use them, so make sure you're confident that you can handle the increased difficulty. Tactical opportunities offer you special objectives to complete in exchange for resources, experience points, and other goodies. Players have 2 daily bounties and 1 weekly extra mission objective to pursue. So far, these optional missions have ranged from playing 2 missions with a different class, shooting a number of facehugger eggs, or even taking down 300 enemies with a handgun. They're worth attempting, as the rewards for completing a tactical opportunity include a substantial amount of credits and bonus gear. All handy stuff for building your Marine into a lean and mean fighting machine. There are two constants in the universe. First, in space no one can hear you scream, and second, red barrels will always be the best makeshift explosive to use when taking on the worst the galaxy has to offer. So, you know, shoot the red barrels. That just about does it for our tips to get your marine fighting fit to face the Xenomorph horde. If you've got any more suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Hit like if you've enjoyed the video and subscribe for more videos like this. This is Chris, last survivor of the Endeavour, signing off.